Hi, welcome back. This is a bonus segment for my basic access course. And I decided to go ahead and do this one because of the issues I was having, or the issue I was having with my command wizards. And if you're not sure what I'm talking about, it's when I was trying to add buttons to my forms. And let me show you what I mean. I'm going to go ahead and switch to design view for this. Oh, wait a minute. Let me get out of this. I don't want my navigation form. I want just the member list form. So I'll open member list form in design view. And I don't think I need my property sheet right now. And I'll minimize my navigation pane. That way I can see my little toolbox that I created over here. So what was happening is when I went to the button command, or the button control, and then came down here and clicked to add my button, it was giving me an error. And the reason it was doing that is because I was using the control wizards. So here's what it looks like. Make sure your control wizards are turned on. Now, if your control wizards work fine, that's great. Just follow what I did in previous segments of this. But if your controls, specifically your ones that require the wizard, like the button, when you activate the wizard, you get this error: undefined function, upload string, and expression. I've looked this up, I've researched it. It's been an issue that's been around. Again, it's one of those Microsoft bugs that I couldn't find an answer for. So what I've done is, when I have these issues, and I'm not giving a class on how to create buttons, is I'll turn off my command wizards or control wizards. So I click this more button here in the controls group, and I turn off the control wizards. And I know it's turned off because the icon is not highlighted or doesn't have a box around it. So when you're going to create buttons this way, I mean, you can go ahead and create the button when you bring it in here, and you can click and drag to create your button, whichever you prefer. It's just going to be listed with whatever control option comes next, or which control sequence. So this is command 50. So this is the 50th command or control something that I've added to this form. Really inconsequential. But now what we're going to do is we're going to go in and we're going to create a macro. Ooh, yeah, macros. We're going to create a macro that would do the exact same thing that our control wizard would do. They're not real difficult. They don't take a lot of time, and you can even actually add a little bit of extra stuff if you decide to. And if you want, you can learn more about macros. Just Google access macros, and you'll find a ton of information on it. There's YouTube videos out there. Great information. I may do a little more advanced macro, not a full course, but just a session later on. So to get started with this, you're going to go to the Create tab, because we're going to create something. We use this to create tables and create forms and create queries and create reports. And now we're going to use this to create a macro. So here's our macro button. We're not going to get into Visual Basic or anything like that. If you're a Visual Basic kind of person, this is where you can access your Visual Basics. You can add modules and all the hoo-ha that goes along with that. That's a whole different, beyond my basic class. But we're just going to use this macro button right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a couple more reports, just real easy reports. And I'm going to create a macro that's going to be assigned to this button and another button. to open those reports when we click the buttons, just like this one did when I used the command button wizard in Access 2019 or Office Access 365. So this is real easy. I'm going to come in here to my member list, and I'm going to real quick create a query. It's going to be a fairly simple query. Simple query. We're going to use a simple query to create our simple query. And I'm just going to bring in ID, last name, first name, and then whether they're male or female. And then we'll bring in their goal. Real easy. Click next. Detailed, not a summary. Click next. We're going to go into modify the query design and then finish. And all we're going to do with this is let's say this is going to be our male goal report. We simply put equals true under the male field in our criteria. We can run that, and there you'll see all these folks are male, at least to all outward appearances they're male. And then we can go back to design view, and you'll see that this is listed as member list query 1. And again, you got to make sure to pay attention to your query names, rename them whenever possible. So this one seems to work, so I'm just going to go ahead and save it. And then I will close it. And then I'm going to rename this as the male goal query. All right, male goal query. Enter that. Then we will go and we will create another one, another query. This is going to be, actually we don't have to do all of that. Here's a bit of a shortcut. We know that this one is used to pull out the males. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this query, and we're going to make a copy of it and rename it and then make a change. So we'll right click and we will copy and then right click and paste. So here is a query name, and it says a copy of our male goal query. We're just going to rename this to female goal query. Click OK. And then we'll right click on the female goal query and go to design view. We're going to take the true out of this one, and we're going to add true to that one. We'll run this query, and there you can see that these are all would appear to be female, so it seems like it's working. We'll go back to design view. We're going to save that. So there's our two queries. Now what we're going to do is cancel that. Is we're going to create our reports based on these two queries. This is real simple. We're going to go the easy route on this. We're going to go to the Create tab. We're going to select the female goal query. Just select it. Don't open it. And then we're going to click the Report button here in the Report group. Not Report Wizard, just Report. We're keeping this real simple. And there you'll see a copy of your report in layout view. That's beautiful. We're going to save this. And again, if you want, you can add that RPT underscore at the beginning. Totally up to you. But if you're going to do that with reports, then you should do that with everything. Okay. I didn't do it with everything. I'm just showing you different ways that people do things. So, and now we're going to go to the male query. We'll select the male query, and then we'll go to Create and click Report. There's our male report. And we can actually come in and we can take out this field on the male query. We'll save that as the male query report, and we can take out the female field or the male field on this one. Actually, we can hide those on both of them. So let's close those, close the report. Let's go back to our female query in design view. So again, this is the female query, so we don't need the checkbox to show that they're females because it's the female query. We'll save that, run it. There we go. We just have their names and their goals, and that's what we need. So again, we'll save this, close it. We'll do the same thing with the male. We'll open it in design view. We will hide the male and female fields, run it, and again, same thing. ID, last name, first name, and their goals. Save this, close it. So now if we open our female query report, you'll see it gives you this error. And that's because on the form, there is a male checkbox, and it's looking for that male checkbox. And it's also looking for the female checkbox, but you remember we took those out. So what we're going to do is we'll just delete these two because it's easy enough just to remake them. We'll go back to our female goal query. We'll create a report and we'll save it. And you'll notice, see, this one goes beyond the printed page. So this is where you can go into design view, and we can make these names. Oops, I don't want to delete that. Here we go. The names probably aren't going to be all that big. And we'll make this smaller. And you'll notice that as I make these fields smaller, the ones to the right snap into place. Okay. And we can just take this and move it over. And we go to design and view our report. So we'll go to design view. And now we can scroll all the way over. And we'll take the end of our report page and we'll just drag it over to, we'll go to 8 inches. There we go. Now if we go to print preview, over. So we'll close print preview and we'll bring this over. And then we'll go to print preview again. There we go. So you can see there's no second page button down here, so it's all within the borders of this page. And it's just a little bit tweaking that you have to do. So anyway, back to the macros. We have our female report. We're going to save those changes. Remember, we made changes. Female query report. And then we'll close this, and then we'll go back and we'll select the male goal query, create report, and we'll just go quickly into design view, and we're going to move this over. These two, we're going to make them smaller, right? A little bit smaller. These two, a little bit smaller. And then we'll bring this over kind of to match. And we'll come over here, grab the end of our form, drag it over, 8-inch. Should be good. We'll save those changes as male goal query. And again, these are reports, so no worries there. All right, so now we're gonna go in and we're gonna create our query. Or queries. So we'll go to create, again, create tab. I'm going to create our macros. I'm sorry, not our queries. We're going to create our macros. Click on the macro button. First thing we want this one to do is we want it to open a report. All right, and then we tell it which report we want it to open. We'll do the female query first. We don't need to worry about it. We want it to view the report, or we maybe want it to go to print preview. That's really the only decision you have to make in this. And then I'm going to add another just a little, why not? I'm going to add a beep. So that when you click this button, it's going to beep and it's going to open the report. So we're going to take this, we're going to move it up so that it beeps and then opens the report. We'll test this, click run. And it says we have to save it first, so we'll save it. We're going to save this as female goal report. Click OK. And there you go. There's our female goal report opened up for us. Pretty slick. And you heard the beep, right? So that works. We'll save that macro again. And then we'll close it. And then we'll go to our male goal query. And we're going to create a macro. We'll just do the beep first to get that out of the way. There's our beep. And then our second action is we're going to have it open a form, or I mean a report, I'm sorry. We're going to tell it to open our male query report and show us the print preview. And we can run that to give it a test. It says save it first. We'll save it. We'll call it male goal report. Male goal report. And now we'll click OK. And there's our male report. So creating these macros really aren't that hard. We'll save this and then close it. Now we can take our first command button that we put over here, this control, and we're going to assign a macro to that button. So I'm going to make things easy. I'm just going to right click and I'm going to go to properties down here. And I'm sorry, we're going to click the event tab and we're going to go to the on click. And on click, we want it to open the female goal report. It's listed right there. Let me see if I can show you this. There's our two macros, right? So on click, we'll tell it to open the female report. So then we also need to go in here and we need to change our caption. Instead of command 50, female goal report. Press enter, and now that's what's displayed on our button. So to make things easy, again, we can just copy and paste this button. We can change the caption to male. We'll go to the event tab and we'll change the event from the female goal report to the male goal report. And then we can save all of these changes because this is structural changes. We'll go to the preview for the form. And if you want, we can close this and I'll open the menu form. So you can see that everything is still here. And if I want to see the male goal report, I click on male goal report and there it is. Close my print preview. If I want to see the female goal report, click the female goal report. There it is. Either print or close print preview. So that's how you create macros. Again, there's a whole bunch of fun things you can create, or you can create a macro to do. Let me just go back in there and show you. Actually, I don't even need to do that. Let me just go to create macro. And this is your list of things that your macros can do. Many of these you'll probably never use. But there's a close window, there's delete records. You can create a button and a macro to delete records if you want, rather than selecting and pressing the delete key on the keyboard. You can use it to find records. You can use them to go to. If you don't like the little bitty buttons down on the bottom for navigation, then you can use macros and buttons to create your own next and previous buttons. Just so many things you can do. Open forms, open tables, print preview. There's a quit button on there that, you know, if you ever want to quit button on your form so that you don't have to just quit both. You just click the buttons. There's so many different things you can do. Okay, so don't be afraid of macros. Like I said, get in there, do a little research, practice with the ones that I've shown you. These are pretty simple. Practice with those, see what other things you can make it do, and then do some more research. Google it up, you know, have some fun. Make these things yours, make them work for you. That's the whole idea behind a database, is it's a whole bunch of information that you can condense into an easy to read, easy to manipulate, and easy to work with group. So again, don't be afraid. Get out there and explore. So with that, I'm going to call this macro special edition done. And again, contact me if you have any questions. So stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.